we participated in Lent, the Lenten season, which is the fasting up until Easter, the 40 days of fasting. But I usually go until Pentecost anyway. And so we ended up kind of just like exchanging some small words in the comment section on Instagram. But I ended up going on my fast unannounced because I don't know you. We're not friends. We don't talk. I don't have to announce, right, that I'm fasting. So I disappeared basically. And he would have to tell you what he was thinking at the time. But when I came back after 100 days, so I did 100 days of fasting. When I
Wow.
came back, I had all of these messages in my inbox from him. So initially I'm like, block, you're a creep, like, you know. But I happened to read the very last one. Like I opened it because initially I was gonna just block him and be done with it. But I read the message and it had a scripture attached to it. So I said, let me see what he's been talking about. And I scrolled up 70 something messages, right? I went all the way back to
Whoa, how many messages?
70 something messages. Hear me, but I had been gone for 100 days, right? So I scrolled back up to the beginning and I said, because I needed to see, like, okay, do I need to call the police? Is this a stalker starting or something? And the first
But when
message
they want you, they will stop at nothing. That's a whole nother, we're gonna get into that. But when
was,
a man wants you for real, he's gonna be persistent. Go ahead.
yep. So I went back to the original message, and at first they were like, "Hey, are you okay?" A few days in between them, right? So one day he hit me up, was like, "Hey, I haven't seen you online. Is everything okay?" And then the next day was like, "Hey, I'm a little worried because it's not like you." Like I was a poster every day in that era. And so he was like, "It's not like you to not be posting. Is everything okay?" And then a couple days after that, the message said, I prayed and I asked the Lord, were you okay? And the Lord told me that you were. So I'm going to send you messages, if not every day, every other day, so that when you return, you will know that somebody has been thinking about you.
Full stop, Charity. Wait a minute. First of all, I'm still processing the 70 plus messages.
Honey,
Number two, him saying that he prayed about your safety.
right, right.
Let's unpack that for a second.
Honey, I was so blown. I literally had to get out of my like panic of safety mode and be like, oh my God, is this real? Like, who would do something like this? Who does this? And
Right.
um, so I said, okay, I won't block him. I'll just leave it open. So I posted, right, so that he would know that I was back. He was like, oh my God, I'm so glad that you're back. I hope that whatever you did while you were away, that it was, beneficial and that you got what you needed. Da, da, da. And I said, what's wrong with you? That was my response. Like, what is wrong with you? And he was like, as I said in the message, I wanted you to know that you were on someone's mind and that I was praying for you. I was thinking about you. And I said, what do you want from me? Because we don't know each other. We're not talking at
The
that point.
guard is up. Yeah.
So he was like, nothing but to get to know you. And if you ever decide that you want to get to know me, here's my number. Now here I am playing the hard girl still at the time. I'm like, I let a few days go by before I even was like, you know what? I'm gonna text him. And I did, and kind of the rest is history. I text him thinking that we were gonna enter a texting relationship for a little while. And he was like, I go on my break in 30 minutes, I'm gonna call you. He
He
didn't
made time. He made time.
he did not call. He FaceTimed me, and we sat on FaceTime for 4 hours. And
What?
literally history. So
I didn't even go back to work after that. I went from break and I just went home after that. I think.
What? So there are a couple things to this before we hop into Kedric's side of the story. Um, we hear so many women that make excuses why a man is not consistent. Oh, he was busy with work, or we see guys that are hot and cold. Like you hear from them, then they're gone for 2 weeks and they pop up. They don't even say, "What are you doing?" It's just WYD.
sure.
And so I think on the lady side from you, Charity, can you kind of dig into intention, like good intention? Because intention can be good or bad, but being
Sure.
positively intentional and the show up, like being present and consistent. Because I really think ladies really need to hear what that really looks like and why that matters from the beginning, from day one.
For sure. One thing that I've known from my previous relationships is that right, hindsight, and this is kind of general, hindsight is 2020, but most of the time the red flags would have already been there from the beginning. And so if you have someone on the onset that texts and misses time or every other day, or they plan something and they're inconsistent or whatever, those inconsistencies are likely to exist later down the line. That's one. So two, it's about being emotionally aware. Like, what's happening? What do I need? Does this person kind of naturally or innately provide that? And I'm talking about on basic terms. I'm not saying anything like extremely complicated, but just in a basic,
Absolutely.
like, if I'm a talker, are you willing to talk? If I am a, I like the, hey, I'm thinking about you. That I'm a acts of kindness, kind of, that's my love language. And so acts of service, those kind of things. And so one, just being aware enough to know what it is you're looking for, what it is the person that's providing, and not being willing to negotiate or bargain that in the beginning. That's one. Two, having a relationship with Lord is really first and foremost, but I said
Paramount.
it. Truth of the matter is, one, had he not used discernment, or two, had I not used discernment, our connection may have failed from the get-go. I was in my natural self being more protective, more guarded. It took me already coming out of a place of prayer and fasting to say, wait, hold on. I don't think this is what I am initially believing that it is. Let me take a minute. Let me ask the Lord. Let me pray. Let me see, and the same for him, right? Because I could have been off entertaining other people. I could have been doing whatever else, but he had to follow the Lord as the Lord led him as well. And so those two things, right? Making the Lord the center from the very beginning, not even together, because at that point we weren't together. I'm talking about separate. You and your singleness. If you still aren't consulting the Lord about what he looks like, what kind of job he has, his location, right? Because I knew in my mind, I said, this would never work. I never wanted to live in North Carolina, so I'm like, why would I even da 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 da? But God knows. And so you using your relationship with the Lord as a guide, because the Lord said he will be a guide, but then also being aware enough to say, he said he was going to call me in 30 minutes. Did he call? Because
A man of his word. Yes.
right. All of that is important, even from the beginning.
Kedric, so what were you thinking? What was running through your mind, sir? Like, what was it about her that made you even take that leap of faith to even do that, especially in our generation, our time?
I don't know, like I saw her picture. Like when I saw her picture in the video, I kept going back to it. So then I eventually reached out to the friend that posted the video, and I was like, "What you know about her?" And she was like, "Oh, that's Charity. She's this and she's that." And I'm like, "All right, forget all that. I'm about to just reach out myself." And when I reached out, I don't think she responded. I don't think you responded right away. I don't think you did. So I'm sitting here waiting, and then the little bit that she did respond, I was like, okay, she having a little conversation here and there, but it ain't like she trying to make me like play. She's playing hard to get. That's what I was feeling.
She's making you work.
So on top of that, vanishing for 100 days, I'm like, man, how I feel like I found the one. I ain't never talked to her, and then she ghosted me for 100 days. So I'm like, all right, that's what it is. I'm gonna jump in
But
that.
you didn't ghost you, but you didn't know that though.
I didn't know
like
that.
you didn't know.
So you know what? I was like, I think I had told my brother, I said, I'm gonna jump in the inbox for 100 days. When she come back, she gonna have 100 messages from me.
Wow.
And, at first, I thought, she was just gonna block me anyway, because that is kind of creep for somebody to send you.
Yeah.
I was really concerned though, because she really was a poster from like the few weeks that I had been following her. She was a poster. She didn't ever go live, but she might drop a boomerang here and there. You know what I'm saying? So I was like, all right, is she dead, or did something happen to her, or what?
But you didn't know she was on consecration at that time. So
No, I didn't know. So when I think we finished up, did I jump in and finish up, or was that the next time? The fast with you? Like how did that work?
So come around the next time, he's fast forwarding the whole year. By the time we are together by this point, Lent comes around again. I'm like, okay, it's Lent time. I don't talk as much during Lent, whatever. He was like, okay, cool. What are we fasting from? And so
he's different because they don't make them like that anymore.
Honey, I say it's something about those country ones, I tell you.
You just don't really have time to waste for real. Like, I'm getting older, she getting younger, and Oh, you just gotta keep. You gotta.
Yeah, that Jack and Edge ministry. We ain't getting no younger. We might as well do this. Like,
yeah. But when you know, you know, and that's a real thing. I know a lot of people say that jokingly, but dude, when you know, you know. And I wasn't gonna stop until, like, not on no creep, but I wasn't gonna stop until she gave me a yes.